Hello, I welcome to UPSC Prelims Chaturya series of Shantha Lakshmi IAS Academy, where we will discuss the daily prelims MCQs from the Hindu, Indian Express and PIB. Let's get started. The first question. Consider the following statements with respect to the basic structure of the Constitution. It ruled that the constituent power of Parliament under Article 368 does enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. The concept of the basic structure of the Constitution was evolved by the Supreme Court of India in the case of Shri RK Prajapathi case 1951. How many of these statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. The Constitution of India does not explicitly define its basic structure. The concept of the basic structure of the Constitution was evolved by the Supreme Court of India in the landmark case of Keshwananda Bharati versus State of Kerala in 1973. In this case, the Supreme Court ruled that while the Parliament has a wide powers to amend the Constitution, it cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution. At the same time, it laid down a new doctrine of the basic structure of the Constitution. However, the Supreme Court is yet to define or clarify as to what constitutes the basic structure of the Constitution. It ruled that the constant power of the Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. This means that the Parliament cannot abridge or take away fundamental rights that forms a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So the answer is only one, because it ruled that the constant power of the Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. And the concept of the basic structure of the Constitution was evolved by the Supreme Court of India in the case of Keshwananda Bharati case, not Shankara Prasad case. Moving to the next question. With reference to the Global Report on Food Crisis 2024, consider the following statements. GRFC is produced annually by the Food and Agricultural Organization. Nearly 282 million people faced high levels of acute food insecurity in 59 countries in 2023. Which of the statement given above is correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one and two. Nearly 282 million people faced high levels of acute food insecurity in 59 countries in 2023, according to the 2024 Global Report on Food Crisis released recently. About this report, GRFC is produced annually by the Food Security Information Network and launched by the Global Network Against Food Crisis, a multi-stakeholder initiative that includes United Nations agencies, the European Union, and the United States Agency for International Development, and non-governmental agencies working to tackle food crisis. Highlights of this report: the report analyzed a population of 1.3 billion in 2023 across 59 countries. And 2023 was the fifth consecutive year of rises in the number of people suffering acute food insecurity, defined as when population face food deprivations that threatens lives and livelihoods regardless of the causes or the length of time. Nearly 282 million people faced high levels of acute food insecurity in 59 countries in 2023. The report identifies conflicts, extreme weather events, and economic shocks as the three main drivers behind the exacerbations of food crisis in the world, with the food crisis escalating alarmingly in conflict hotspots in 2023, notably Palestine and Sudan. Conflict became the primary driver in 20 countries, directly affecting 139 million people. The Gaza Strip became the area with the most severe food crisis in the last 8 years of GRFC reporting. Sudan is facing one of the worst food crises in the world, with almost a third of the population in need of emergency food aid. Meanwhile, weather extremes were the main driver for 18 countries, with over 72 million people facing high levels of acute food insecurity because of such extreme weather events. 10 countries with the world's largest food crisis in 2023 were a Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Sudan, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Yemen, Syrian Arab Republic, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Myanmar. On a positive note, the situation improved in 17 countries in 2023, including the Democratic Republic of Congo and Ukraine. So the answer is 2 only, because CRFC is produced annually by the Food Security Information Network, not Food and Agricultural Organization. Moving to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding the inflammatory bowel disease. IBD is a significant problem. It comprises ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease and is characterized by inflammation. It is same as irritable bowel syndrome. It is curable disease. How many of these statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. Rising incidence of IBD cases across the globe is a cause for concern, says experts. IBD is a significant problem. It comprises ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, and it is characterized by inflammation. Both ulcerative colitis and the Crohn's disease are complex immune-mediated disease. There is a dysregulated immune response. We do believe there are genetic markers that contribute to the disease, but not in isolation. There is an increasing incidence of IBD across the globe, including in North America and Western Europe. The prevalence is also rising from 0.5% right now. The prevalence will increase to 0.6% in America. It is incurable and lifelong disease. So the answer is only one, because it is different from irritable bowel syndrome. It is an incurable disease and is a lifelong disease, not curable disease. Moving to the next question. Choose correct one with respect to the Atacama Desert. It is located in northern Chile, nested between the Andes Mountains on the east and the Pacific Ocean on the west. Uruguay, Venezuela, and Ecuador border the Atacama Desert. It is one of the few locations on the globe with 300 days of clear skies in a year along the no light pollution. How many of these statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. Researchers recently found microbes thriving 13 feet beneath the scorched surface of Chile's Atacama Desert, marking the deepest discovery of microbial life in the region. About this desert, it is located in northern Chile, nested between the Andes Mountains on the east and the Pacific Ocean on the west. It is the driest desert in the world. It forms a continuous strip for nearly 1,000 kilometers along the narrow coast of the northern third of Chile. Argentina, Peru, and Bolivia border the Atacama Desert. It shows a unique combination of environmental extremes. Previously part of the Pacific Ocean seabed, the Atacama Desert landscape consists of caked salt deposits called IAS, which stretch for miles and can be up to 1.6 feet thick in some places. It also hosts 12 volcanoes, mainly located in western outliers of the Andes. The climate, average rainfall in this region about 1 millimeter per year. Some locations within the desert have never had any rainfall whatsoever. This is due to its location between Andes, which blocks the humid air from the Amazon and the coastal mountain range. To the west, the upwelling of cold water from deep in the Pacific Ocean promotes atmospheric conditions that hamper the evaporation of sea water and prevent the formation of clouds and rain. Temperatures are comparatively mild throughout the year. The average temperature in the desert is about 63 degrees Fahrenheit. This region has the largest natural supply of sodium nitrate, which can be used for producing fertilizers and explosives, amongst other things. Soil samples from this region are very similar to samples from Mars. For this reason, NASA uses the desert for the testing instrument for missions to Red Planet. Chinchorro mummies, the oldest artificial mummified human remains, have been found in the Atacama Desert. It is one of the few locations on the globe with 300 plus days of clear skies in year, along with no light pollution. So the answer is only two, because Argentina, Peru, and Bolivia border the Atacama Desert, not Uruguay, Venezuela, and Ecuador. Moving to the next question. Consider the following statements about Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on Plastic Pollution. It is an international legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. The resolution requested the Executive Director of the United Nations Environmental Program. Which of the statement given above are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. The fourth session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment, opened in Canada's capital, Ottawa. About this committee, in March 2022, at the fifth session of the United Nations Environment Assembly, a historic resolution was adopted to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. The resolution requested the Executive Director of the United Nations Environmental Program to convene an intergovernmental negotiating committee to develop the instrument, which is to be based on comprehensive approach that addresses the full life cycle of plastic, including its production, design, and disposal. The objective of the Global Plastic Treaty is to set a global framework of standards around accountability, responsibilities, financing, material, chemical standards, imports or export restriction targets. From this global framework, countries will be tasked with implementing globally aligned policies that meet the targets set. An ISA has been established which will meet 5 times to develop the specific content of the new ILBI by the end of 2024. The INC began its work during the second half of 2022 with the ambition to complete the negotiation by the end of 2024. The first session of INC took place in Punta del Este, Uruguay from 28th November to 2nd December 2022, followed by the second session from 29th May to 2nd June 2023 in Paris, France, and third session from 13th to 19th November 2023 in Nairobi, Kenya. INC 5 scheduled for 25th November to 1st December 2024 in Busan, Republic of Korea, is intended as the end of the INC process. It will be followed by a diplomatic conference where heads of state will sign the agreement. So the answer is both 1 and 2 are correct. Thank you. This is the today's session.